computer network A computer network is a collection of two or more computers and devices that are connected together to share data, resources, and information. These connections can be established using wired networks or wireless communication media such as wired networks such as cables or Wi-Fi, which is a wireless or optical fiber. These computer networks also allow the users to communicate efficiently, share hardware like printers, access files, and remotely use the services such as email and internet. Because data communication involves many complex steps, a structured model is required to ensure reliable and standardized communication between different systems. To understand this communication takes place in an organized manner, and for that we use the OSI model. So the OSI model is a seven layered reference model that explains how data travels from one computer to another over a network. Each layer has a specific role, and together they make communication organized and reliable. So the first layer is physical layer. Is physical layer. This layer deals with hardware transmission. It deals with hardware transmission. It sends raw bits such as zeros and ones, and for example, cables, voltages, and connectors. These come under the physical layer. So, like for example, we can take it as this layer moves data, but it doesn't understand it. Like it, it is just basically sending what we want to communicate from one device to the another. It is just basically transferring our messages. Now the next layer is data link layer. Data link layer. The data link layer reliable. It ensures reliable communication between between two directly connected devices. Directly connected devices. It converts raw bits into frames and performs error detection and correction. This layer uses MAC addresses to to identify devices within the same local network. And like If any error occurs during the transmission, this layer can detect them and also request retransmission. Can detect errors and request retransmission. It is also responsible for the flow control, making sure that a fast sender does not overwhelm a slow receiver. So, in short, it is responsible for flow control. Next is network layer. This is the third layer. This layer handles logical addressing and routing. It assigns IP addresses, it assigns IP addresses and determines the best path for data to travel across multiple networks. If data needs to pass through several routers to reach its destination, the network layer decides the route. It also handles packet forwarding and may perform fragmentation if packets are too large. The fourth layer is transport layer. The transport layer is it is responsible for end-to-end communication between sender and receiver. It breaks data into smaller units called segments and ensures they are delivered correctly. This layer it provides two types of services. One is reliable communication with what we call as TCP, and next unreliable faster communication, which we call as UDP. The TCP, it guarantees delivery, order, and error detection. But in contrast, UDP guarantee, like it has no such guarantee, but the transmission is faster. It also performs flow control and error recovery, ensuring the data arrives without loss or duplication. The fifth layer is session layer. This layer manages communication sessions between applications on different services. Manages communication sessions between applications on different devices. It establishes a session, keeps it active during the data transfer, and properly terminates it afterward. If a communication is interrupted, the session layer may not allow to resume from the last checkpoint instead of starting again. This layer ensures that the communication is organized and synchronized. Now the next layer is presentation layer. This layer acts as a translator between the application and the network. It handles it handles data formatting, encryption and decryption, compression and decompression. This ensures that the data sent by one system can be understood by another, even if they are of different formats or encoding schemes. Still, it can like they can understand each other. Now, the last and the seventh layer is application layer. This layer is the topmost layer and is closest to the end user. It provides services like email, file transfer, web browsing, etc. This layer allows applications to access network services, but it does not include the application itself. It only allows the interface between the application and the network. So if we talk about each of the layers in short, then the physical layer, it, it coordinates the functions required to transmit a bit stream over a physical medium. This is about the physical layer. The data link layer, it is responsible for delivering data units from one station to another without any errors. The network layer, it is responsible for the source to destination delivery of a packet across multiple network links. The transport layer, it is responsible for process-to-process delivery of the entire message. The session layer, it establishes, maintains, and synchronizes the interactions between the communicating devices. And the presentation layer, it ensures interoperability between communicating devices through transformation of data into a mutually agreed upon format. The last layer, application layer, it enables the users to access to the network. So this was about the OSI model. Now after understanding the OSI model, the next important concept in computer networks is the TCP or IP protocol. The TCP or IP protocol stands for Transmission Control Protocol or the Internet Protocol. And it is the actual protocol suite which is used on the internet. While OSI model is a theoretical reference model, the TCP or IP model is a practical and implementation based model that defines how data is transmitted over real networks. The TCP or IP model consists of four layers, each of which combines the functions of multiple OSI layers. The left one is the TCP protocol, the TCP model, and the right one is the OSI model. The first layer is application layer, and this layer corresponds to the application, presentation, and session layers of the OSI model. It provides services directly to the user and supports protocols such as HTTP, which is web browsing, FTP, that is file transfer, DNS, and SMTP, which is email. This layer allows applications to communicate over the network. The next layer is transport layer. This layer ensures end-to-end communication between devices. It mainly similarly to the transport layer in OSI model. This also contains two protocols, that is TCP and UDP. It controls flow, error handling, and data segmentation. The third layer is the internet layer. It is responsible for logical addressing and routing. It uses IP to assign IP addresses and protocols like ICMP for error reporting. This layer determines the best path for the data packets to reach the destination. Now, the next layer is network access layer. This layer corresponds to the data link layer and the physical layer of the OSI model. It handles hardware addressing, framing, and physical transmission of data over the network. So, like the key difference would be the OSI model is a conceptual framework used for understanding, whereas the TCP is a practical model used for real world network communication. So, as a conclusion to this chapter, computer networks enable they enable devices to communicate and share the resources efficiently, like share resources efficiently. To understand how this communication takes place, models like the OSI model and the TCP protocol are used. TCP or IP protocol are used. The OSI model provides a theoretical framework by dividing network communication into seven layers, which helps in understanding, designing, and troubleshooting networks. On the other hand, the TCP or IP model is a practical protocol. It is a practical it is a practical protocol suite that is actually used on the internet and combines the functions of multiple OSI layers. Together, these models help in ensuring standardized, reliable, and efficient data communication across networks, making them essential concepts in computer networking.